Unlike the New Testament, where we can go and we can look at the manuscripts. For example, Yusuf was saying, well, you go to Codex Sinaiticus, and it had these other books in it. Now, he didn't prove that the author thought those were canon. He just assumed that. I've never had anyone even prove that. But at least we know what is contained in Codex Sinaiticus. We can go online and find it. We don't even have that level of information about the Quran yet. The level of study of the manuscripts of the Quran is in its infancy at this point in time. And ironically, the motivation for the continuation of that study, the Corpus Chronicum Project and things like that, is not primarily found in religious Muslims. It's found in the West. It's not found amongst Muslims, which is an interesting observation. But at the very least, what you have here on the top is the reading from Surah 222 that's found in Uthman's text. It's found in the modern text of the Quran. And then below it, you have what's called the palimpsest reading. Now, Yusuf didn't really explain to you what that was, but because of the nature of the parchment, you could actually wash off the writing of a book and then write something new on top of it. But thankfully, because of the quills, you were actually marking the parchment, and when you use infrared or ultraviolet light, depending on the material, you can read what was originally written underneath it. And so we discover in the Fogg's palimpsest manuscript and in the Sa'ana manuscript, so possibly even a third reading, again, it's difficult to know, we find another reading. And notice, this is not a simple scribal error, because when we look at this, we discover that there are changes of entire words, changes of grammatical endings, and changes of where the word is in the position in the sentence. Now, that's not a scribe making a mistake while quoting something in the text. This is clearly editing on the part of the later writing. So you have an earlier form of the text in the palimpsest form. All right? Now, if we have palimpsests in the New Testament. If we find a textual variant, what do? We look at all the other manuscripts we have. But what if you burned all of them? How do you know which one's original? That's the problem with a controlled text. That's the problem with a controlled text. Sure, the vast majority read one way, but how do you know that was the original? How do you know that's not the edited text that has now become the most popular form? That's the problem with controlled transmission. And we have it right here in the text of the Quran.